Yes, what is going on? What are you saying, bro? You good?
I'm good, man. How's it going? How's it going?
It's all good over here. It's all good over here. It's all good over here. I'm excited for today's chat. Um, so by the topic, I know everyone's looking at everyone's seen a topic right now. You know what we're talking about. We're probably gonna dive into a whole lot more stuff, but I just wanted to cover, or we want to cover how the habits, the current habits that we have nowadays. So we go to work, we come back, we chill, or we go to work, we look at the screen all day. We're always on our phone. You know, we're barely outside. Most people are barely outside. Everything is all on social media now. Does it benefit our mental health? The lifestyle that we live in this 21st century, or in this year, in this, with everything that's happening, does it benefit our mental health? Are we staggering our own mental health by like not knowing? Do you think we are?
To be honest with you, I would say yes. And honestly speaking, I think if you're outside, um, and you're kind of doing things that I always compare it to if you're sat inside every day by yourself
Yeah.
in a room, locked away, that's essentially prison, right? And that's essentially what you have. So solitude, if by choice for a set period of time, is fine. I understand it, but in the long run, it is detrimental to your mental health. Like human beings are social creatures. We've got
Yeah.
mouth and ears to listen and speak.
Yeah.
Now, if all you're doing is speaking to yourself, that doesn't sound healthy in the long run. So
this
you
is
can
what
only hear your voice,
this is
and
what
it can
YouTubers do
only.
though.
So I think it's a very dangerous place to sort of be in all times. I also think you should learn to also be comfortable with being by yourself, which I think
Yeah.
is important as well. There is a balance to be met there, but I think there is a very delicate balance in the sense that turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I'm okay being by myself all the time." Then I'm starting to cringe a little bit and say, "Oh, like you do need the balance that you need sometime, whether it's friends, family, whatever it may be. It's good to interact and keep your social levels up in terms of that will release endorphins. And I'm not talking about just talking about work or work colleagues. I'm talking about just a relaxed setting. Just have conversations. They will both educate and help you, and also let you alleviate stress and not think too much about other things, because life's too stressful, man. Like, life is too stressful if you let it be. And one of the key things
Yeah.
about isolation is that's what kind of starts to happen, you know.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I think I didn't see this. The main reason why I actually came up with this topic is because I was watching something on TikTok, and there was this guy called Stephen Bartlett. He was saying that we humans, made, we're not made to be sitting at home on our laptop 8 hours a day, coming back home, probably spending more time watching TV on our phone. We're made to be active. You know, we're made to be active. We're made to be moving around, doing stuff, interacting. We're made for interaction. You know, we're made to interact with people, and you know, we're causing our own either mental breakdown or mental health issues by, you know, just isolating ourselves. And we're doing it unconsciously. It's not like we have a choice, because we got to go to work, we got to go and sit on those laptops and, you know, edit, whether it's editing a video, or, you know, doing some sort of work in the company, or, you know, like doing something. We're meant to, we have to make money, right? We have no choice, kind of thing. Well, it's not that we have no choice, we have a choice, but we've got to do what we got to do. But we weren't made to be, you know, just sitting down on a laptop or sitting down on a computer. We gotta move, we gotta live our lives. And this is why, you know, a lot of people recommend exercising all the time, or exercising at least 3 times a week, being active, because it's also good for your mental health. And as you were talking about endorphins and, you know, those feel good chemicals, because they release that. And not only, it's not even just exercises that releases that, it's, you know, hanging around with friends, good people, having a good circle of people around you. Those things benefit your mental health. And, you know, if you're isolating yourself and being at home all the time, like you said, it's prison, and nobody wants to be in prison, right? So I think it's, you know, it doesn't really benefit. It's not really benefiting our mental health. And fair enough, we need to be on our own at some point. Like, we need to learn to enjoy our own company, you know, just be on our own and learn about ourselves. But we also need to be out there. We also need to be doing stuff. We need to be communicating with people, networking with people, you know, just being out there. And so that just had me thinking, like, what we are doing nowadays, like the way we live, are we unconsciously destroying our mental health? You know?
I think also, to add to that, is I think when you isolate yourself for long periods of time, you build up things like social anxiety. So like, when you think about it, like, how do you gain confidence, right? In anything, whether it be public speaking, whether it be conversing with others, whatever it may be. I think self-isolation for long periods of time always leads to a level, not necessarily guaranteed to, but I think there is a correlation a little with social anxiety, because then you start to kind of question, like, oh, when I do XYZ, how is that going to appear? How are people going to sort of react to it? And I think that kind of is not always a positive thing, you know.
No.
I think if, when someone is very confident and they feel comfortable being themselves, I think they enjoy their lives a lot more. And B, I think they're okay being themselves, right? So I think that's the key thing, is building a network and people around yourself whereby you can be yourself and articulate yourself accordingly. When you don't have those things, I think you're going to have a lot of problems. That's just my personal side of my beliefs.
Yeah, and the thing is, like you said about the whole confidence thing as well. Like, you see, let's even bring it down to people that are, you know, our generation kind of thing. Majority of these guys that don't know how to move to girls, or they don't even know how to chat to girls. What did they do? They would, I don't even want to say they isolate themselves, but they're always, you know, their main focus is on their job. Their main focus is on, and it's not even a bad thing, you know, if your main focus is on your job and not girls, that's fine. You focus on your purpose, all of that jazz. But how do you gain the confidence, again, to talk to people, not just even girls? How do you gain the confidence to chat to people? How do you gain the confidence to network? You have to be in that environment. It's just like, you know, when we first started everything, like, remember when I was, what I was like 5 years ago, when I wasn't able to speak to people, even though I was working in retail, I still didn't know how to, you know, approach people. It was a case of having to put myself in that environment where I had to, you know, be like, okay, talk to 5 people a day, Tony. You know, you remember when we were doing all that stuff, chat to 5 people a day. I didn't even know how to slide into anyone's DMs, you know. I just like, okay, slide into 5 DMs a day. I mean, that was a different one, but that's how you build a confidence. And, you know, this whole, like, isolating yourself, and, you know, it's fair enough, focus on your purpose and all that stuff, focus on your job and focus on your all of that jazz. But we've got to put ourselves in an environment where we have to start putting ourselves in an environment where, you know, you're surrounded by good people, you're surrounded by like-minded people you're able to talk to. I'm not, like, as much as I'm saying, yeah, go out and do stuff, I'm not saying just go out and, you know, chat to useless people. You know, it's not chat to useless people. Talk to people that are like-minded. But, you know, we gotta, this, especially with this whole lockdown thing, especially in the UK, where we've almost, thank God we're out. I'm hoping we're out. I hope we're out. We're out, right? Lockdown's done, right?
Yeah.
Lockdown is done. See, I didn't even know that's how much I still, my mind is still in lockdown mode. But during this lockdown, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've had a whole lot of, you know, mental health issues with the lockdown, right? Have we not?
Yeah, I think, do you know what I'm gonna say to you? It's not just a lockdown in that sense. So I feel like what was there was, let me put it this way, right? So let's say me and you, right? Let's say our lifestyles are based around, let's say, the way we alleviate or our relief or our stress relief or
Hmm.
our sort of way of alleviating, let's say, our issues that we have
Yeah.
is going out on Saturday, Sunday, whether that be going swimming, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
gym, whatever it may be, healthy. I'm just talking about even on a healthy contextualized context, is it becomes a problem. Like if that's
Mm.
gone. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
even people that maybe didn't have so many issues because they were able to manage and maintain their life and their mental welfare
Mm.
struggled a lot because the things that they utilized to alleviate or when they were, to avert crises, if we were going to say that, they don't have those tools anymore and they had to stay inside. And, like I said earlier, is that if I always joke about, it's like, especially during lockdown, is you could have allowed lockdown to be your jail sentence, or you
Huh.
could allow a lockdown to be a time period for growth. You
Mm.
can't end up being, there is a middle ground somewhere, but like I think those are the two extremes that you could have ended up with. Some people thrived a lot and mentally were fine and were learning languages, picked up different things, had YouTube channels,
Mm.
like did
Yeah.
a lot of things. And out of lockdown, they actually turn around and say, actually, you know what? Now I want to work from home all the time because I managed to do X, Y, Z. I'm still want my social life and I still want to, go out in bits and pieces where possible and safely. I'll do that. But at the same time, they managed to grow and utilize that time period to be a time of growth. So I think it's very much dependent on yourself as a person internally what you use lockdown. Like I noticed a lot of podcasts as well were doing amazing things. Just for
Yeah.
example, not our own, but like some of my favorite podcasts started even doing even better than before because they had more time to create more content. So,
Hmm.
like for content creators in some spaces, beautiful thing. It's been a great time for growth. For some other people, not so much. And that's not to take away or to tell or to insult those people that didn't manage to turn this time period into a positive. But it depends again on your personal traits. Like everyone has their strengths. Like I'm pretty sure, like we always joke about internally with us lot, everyone has different strengths. Like yourself, you're an outgoing person that likes to, in terms of you like to be outdoors. You're really an outdoors person. You like to be outdoors every day if possible. Whereas I don't know, myself, I'm more like a hybrid in between both. I don't mind either or. I do like outdoor stuff, but at the same time, I'm comfortable just chilling with people and doing indoor stuff as well if needed. So it's like it depends on what your characteristic traits are. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I'd come from. But what about yourself? Like my question probably to you is for yourself, when did you find it difficult being in the house a lot more, e.g., or being confined to spaces uh,
Mm.
during the restrictions, or did you find that as a time for growth, or how did your process go through this?
For me, there were so many things on my mind at that moment because I was going through a phase where, like, before the lockdown, I wanted to do something new. I wanted to try something new, but I had no, I wouldn't say motivation. I had nothing to kickstart me. I wanted to do it, but I was procrastinating a lot at that time, and it was kind of like for me that lockdown that happened was kind of like a kickstart, kick off the bomb, like saying, okay, Tony, that thing that you wanted to start or that thing that you wanted to do, this is your time to do it. What do you have to lose? We're in lockdown, gyms are shot. PTs couldn't PT at that point. It was a case of, having to put myself out there online and just working from home. And working from home wasn't a thing for me back then. I was always out. And it was different for me because, I was very comfortable at home, training people online, doing this whole Zoom stuff, doing um, the whole Instagram live stuff. But at some point, it kind of got to a point where, okay, cool, I'm doing all of this, but where do I go from here now? You know, it was all right to start. I was comfortable. I was very comfortable because, you know, the comfortability of working, who wouldn't want to work from home? And even now, everybody's enjoying working from home. But at that point for me, because like, you know, I'm like an outside person. I'm like, I need to go out and do something. I was like, okay, so where do I go from here? How do I scale this kind of thing? And I was stuck. So for me, I'd say the lockdown helped me start something, but I got stuck. I got stuck mentally. So it put me in a position where it wasn't even a bad thing, but it put me in a position where I was trying a whole lot of stuff. I was just doing a whole lot of stuff. I tried different style of coaching. I tried online coaching, I tried Zoom coaching, I tried consultations. And then I started YouTube. And then I tried different style of content for YouTube. I tried the vlog style content, all of that. I've tried everything. And now I'm in a position where I'm doing follow along workouts. Who knows, that might even change again. But the lockdown was good and bad in a way. It just made me ask myself, it got me to a point where I was just asking myself different questions. How do I move? How do I move? How do I move? So yeah, man, the lockdown back then was different for me. It was different for me, but it was a moment of growth. I feel like that is growth. That I feel like that was growth for me because it took me out of my comfort zone. It got me comfortable. It got me asking questions. It got me trying different things that I would never have done before the lockdown. And it got me, as much as you know, my mind, as much as it got me into a kind of like I wouldn't lie, there were times where I was in bad places. I feel like I still needed those bad places to, you know, I needed to fight in that bad place, that bad mental space to kind of progress. And I wouldn't say like I'm all flower and roses now, but you know, when you do something challenging, when something challenges, when there's a when there's a storm and you come out of that storm, there's still going to be a bigger storm coming, but you are stronger, kind of thing, mentally. So I feel like it was a moment of growth for me, basically. But yeah, what do you think of you know, what do you think the effects of, like, obviously for you work from home, so you're cool, you're comfortable working from home, you're calm, but for some people, what do you think the mental effects of, you know, working from, like, what are the mental effects of working from home for some people? Do you think it benefits? Do you think it's a good thing that people are working from home? I think that's the question. That's the one.
I think, do you know what I would say? It depends on your lifestyle. Like, and that sounds very like cop-out-y, but let me like break it down in this sense. So let's say, for example, you're a person that likes to do, you like your work balance. Let's say, for example, your day consists of going to the gym twice a day, let's just say, for argument's sake. If you have to commute for a long period of time, e.g., catch train, and let's say you live outside of London, let's say it takes you an hour to get into London. That means in your day, you've lost 2 hours of your day. And that's me downplaying it because, for example, you have to get ready, get dressed, blah, 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 wash, all of that. So you might be looking to 3 to 4 hours maybe a day with everything added in that you're losing out your day, right? If you take that all away, automatically, yeah, you still got to get washed and dressed and whatnot. But now you've got 2 hours. So that now becomes your gym time automatically.
Yeah.
If that was what you're doing, even that thing. So now you've actually gained 2 hours, let's say, for example, out of your day. Now, if you're very disciplined, I think, and you're a person who likes to control your day, I think working from home might be ideal for you. But if you're someone that kind of struggles and needs a lot of structure to your day, maybe that commute actually helps you organize yourself and like, okay, cool, I get up, I get going. And some people like being in an office setting to get them out of their house. So they're those kind of people that need to get out for them to really have a structured day. So it depends on how you kind of function. So, and also, it's also about phases of life. Because let's say if you've got kids and you've got school run and all these other things, and you've got a dynamic sort of life at home in a sense where there's a lot of demand for you to be at home, then that might also be a rationale. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I know people that have that dynamic but still don't necessarily like being at home or working from home because it kind of it's not what their ideal circumstances, and they'll probably fall into that category A that I mentioned beforehand, or B where like they need to sort of get out the house and do things. Because I think it's about your mentality and where you work best. And also it depends on whether you're a person that, because there's some people that they'll go to an office, bar meetings, they engage with people, but that's not their real thing. So they might go to work, their social interaction is very minimal, and it's kind of like cordial. It's like, hey, how you doing? Quick, blah, blah, blah. Keep it moving. Work, 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 work. Lunchtime comes. They even sit on their own at lunch, for example, right? And it depends on what type of person you are. If you're a person that likes to sit with people at lunch and talk with people, and you're a very social person, I think it also fundamentally goes down to who you are. Because, for example, someone who's like that might not enjoy being at home. I don't know, depends on what your circumstances. If you're single, for example, and you live by yourself in whatever saying, you live in a flat, a house, whatever, you're just going to be you and your own, right? And that probably isn't ideal for you. But if you're a person who's a little bit more reserved and you don't really mind keeping your own company, you might be like, oh, okay, working from home is probably ideal for me. I eat it by myself at work anyway, so why? It makes no difference. And in fact, I'm more comfortable at home because now I'm, you know what I mean? And so that's where I kind of say it differs for per person. But again, even with all of that being said and done, me as a person, for me personally, I like the hybrid. So I don't necessarily want to be at home all the time, but I don't necessarily want to be in the office all the time. Only because I find that being at the office all the time, like I mentioned, limits your structure to your day. So it means, you know, X time you have to either catch a train, commute into work. Once you commute into work, whereas kind of having that extra, let's say you're not feeling too well one day, but you kind of know if you have that extra hour in, you're less likely to be sick for the rest of the day, for example. You know how it is sometimes. You wake up, you're not feeling too great, but you know you're not bad. You know, like if you have that extra hour rest, you can probably work through it and you'll be fine, or you're not too, you know what I mean, too rough. But because let's say you don't have the hour and then you're catching the train, and like, you know how trains are sometimes, they're packed out.
It's long.
You get into the office, now you're feeling not so great. You're actually feeling worse. And I think that all stems from not having the right balance. So like I just mentioned.
So would you say, you know, so for those working from home, or for those, you know, just working, for those who even have like social anxiety or any sort of, you know, mental health problems from, you know, just focusing on just work, would you say they need to, you know, have just what do you think we need to do nowadays in our society now, like 2021, with, you know, with all the internet, with all the, you know, everyone staring at the computer doing work from home? It's like, what would you say we need to do to kind of improve our mental health kind of thing?
I would say, obviously now we're allowed out again. I would never advise someone who is going through mental health issues to be quiet and basically isolate themselves and stay inside, because that's not going to help. I think it's always important for you to not necessarily force people to come outside and stuff like that, but at least do the things that you do like and be in a context where you can have a bit of socialization, right? Because I think I think it can never be a bad thing for you to go out and socialize with people and meet new people and things like that. I think that might not be your thing, but I definitely think that it helps a lot, and I think it gives you the basis of kind of being a little bit free, you know. I think a lot of the times people forget that you know, basically if you don't build it up for yourself, you kind of end up in a weird place. Do you know what I mean? Like, so What I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you're not a very social person. Do it gradually. Okay. Call someone you really get on with. Book some time to just go coffee shops or whatever it may be, and gradually get yourself out there, because I always say, like, it's better to be, spending time with people you enjoy their company and spending time with people you care about, than to be trapping yourself away and locking yourself away, because all that's going to come from that is you're just going to be more and more unhappy. You know what I mean? So that's like my baseline, is just go out, meet new people, spend time with people, and enjoy, man. Life's too short, man. That's the other
100%.
reality. Life is way too
100%.
short.
Like I agree with all those points. One thing I'm going to add to that as well, especially people who are, not confident enough to talk to people. It's not just chatting to people or challenging yourself to talk to 5 people or 3 people a day. Maybe while you're out, maybe if you're taking a train somewhere or you are at a restaurant, just have a little 5 minute, well, not 5 minutes, like 2-second conversation with a waiter, or just someone at the train station, or even if it's the coordinator of people at the train station. I don't know, just chat to them, like you're probably never going to see them again, kind of thing. So just say hello, hi, have a small conversation, how's your day, kind of thing. Are you busy? Even if you go to like a corner shop, like what I like to do sometimes is, if I go to a corner shop, I'll just be like, oh, have you had a busy day? Like more customers coming in, all of that stuff. Just have a conversation, build a relationship, kind of thing. Like, it doesn't have to be very intense, just nice and gradual. At least the more you do it, for example, if you're doing that at the corner shop, the more you do it, the more the person's going to start noticing you, being more friendly to you, kind of thing. And you just never know where the connection will lead. But yeah, with that being said, I think we covered most things for now. I wanted to ask more questions, but I think I'll just leave that for another episode. I wanted to talk more on like the benefits of social media in our society. Is it doing us good? Is it doing us bad? But we'll talk about that another time. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening via podcast, make sure you subscribe as well. And follow us on Patreon. Our Patreon will be in the link in the description on the YouTube, and as well as Spotify and Apple. So make sure you support us, guys. With that being said, see you guys in the next video.